Dude, this is the kind of stuff that legitimately only happens to me. Alright, so first of all, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about some good news, okay? I went from 1.5 million value up to 2.9 million value, which is really cool, thanks to LuaClass and a bunch of other people like Bistuitify. Thank you guys so much, like legitimately. Now, before I actually talk about the bad stuff, let me show you a few trades that I did before actually getting up until this point. So, ladies and gentlemen, I had the Clockworks headphones, right? Like, this item is worth over 1 million Robux, so you know it is a very expensive item. And ladies and gentlemen, I traded it off for the Dominus Spray Effectus and the Red Ice Crown. The recent average price is not really that high, however the difference in value was of 260,000. So you know, this was a very insane trade to me, and not necessarily because of the values, but because of one of the items, which is the Red Ice Crown. The Red Ice Crown gets massive overpays, and in case you were curious as to how much I traded it off for, I gave the Red Ice Crown plus 49,000 Robux for the Silver King of the Night. That is essentially a 90,000 Robux win, which is absolutely insane. Okay, so let's talk about the other item, right? The Dominus Spray Effectus. Funnily enough, this item started doing very bad the very second I got a hold of it. I'm kidding, it was a little bit before, but either way, if you want to know more about why this item is doing bad, please check this other video of mine. I'm not gonna go too in depth into why this item is doing bad, but TLDR is basically that someone was, you know, targeting this item and selling it for very low, impacting this item's performance in trades, simply because the recent average price was no longer as high as it usually was. I know it is very dumb considering that we have the Rolling Mouse value to show what an item actually goes for, but you know, some traders are dumb, and speaking about dumb, let's go over to the next section of the video, which is why I'm so extraordinarily mad. So ladies and gentlemen, a few days ago, precisely 2 days ago, October the 7th, I overpaid 334,000 Robux for the Spec Epsilon Biographed Energy Sword. It is a very rare item and I absolutely love it. This is a gear, you basically hold it in your profile. It does not show up in game, but it is still valued at 980,000. I used, of course, the Dominus Spray Effectus and also the Silver King of the Night, and in exchange I received, of course, the Spec Epsilon, the Silver Emperor of the Night, and also the Skull Bandit. So in total, it was a 334,000 Robux overpay. So you know, I lost over 300,000 Robux, theoretically speaking, on this trade. The problem is what this item went for precisely one little day after I got a hold of it, bro. I am so so mad. sorry, my bad. So if you come over here on value requests, which is where you actually proof your trades in order to make your items go higher or lower in value, you're going to see that I obviously, you know, I proofed this trade because I wanted the item to be raised. You see, I gave the Dominus Spray Effectus plus the Silver King of the Night for both of these, and also the Silver Emperor of the Night. And also, do you see this cool text, bro? I mean, it is a cool visual, right? Like, look at this sword, it looks super good, bro. So you know, I have absolutely zero regrets when it comes to this trade. I absolutely love this sword, so you know, no regrets whatsoever. However, as I told you, the issue is not my trade. The issue is what the item went for one little singular day after I got it for 334,000 overpay. Do you want to know? Of course you do. So let me show you this horrible trade. So ladies and gentlemen, you may think that the trade was not that bad, but the trade was that bad. Matter of fact, it was a horrible trade. It was a 920,000 lowball for the Steampunk Aver Spectacles and the Chronoisium, the Harbinger Helm. As you can see right here, my Spec Epsilon being given away for 920,000 low ball, bro. And there were also these items where I don't care about these items. I don't care about this guy, and I also don't care about this guy over here. I hate both of you. I don't actually, okay? I'm joking. I really hope you guys don't take this video seriously. So basically this, even rarer than my item made my item lowball 920,000, which is absolutely amazing to see one day after you actually traded for this item right here, right? I mean, it's lovely, bro. It's absolutely lovely to see. Now, deep down, bro, I'm gonna be honest, I don't even think the reason I'm mad is because of this trade offer, right? The reason I'm mad is because I was literally negotiating with Z-Lady, who is the guy who gave Spec Epsilon for a 920,000 lowball. I was literally negotiating with him as he did the trade. So basically, he wanted me to send him my inventory because he wanted to make a calculation on some items. He wanted this item right here and these 5 items right here. So, you know, he wanted to offer. So I was like, yeah, sure, bro, make up a calculation. And then he came up with this, which in of itself is a horrible offer, okay? I'm not gonna lie, this is a horrible offer. And the only reason as to why I was going to accept was because of the demand items. Because if you take a look over here on my inventory, you're going to see that I have like barely any high demand items. And I really feel like I need a few very high demand items just because, you know, your inventory is way more liquid that way. Like, you know, the sword, these over here as well, all of these are very low demand. So, you know, I of course need some high demand items on my inventory. But the issue is that one of the items that was involved in the trade, Dr. Shamrock, as you can see, it was on hold because I had traded for it relatively recently. And you know, it was not on hold for a long period of time because if you take a look on when he made the calculation, which was 11:48 p.m., the item was basically on hold for an extra 20 minutes here. As you can see, he said, hit me up when all that stuff is off hold, and I said, it will be off hold in precisely 12 minutes, my friend. So it was legitimately not a long wait whatsoever. Then, you know, we chatted a little bit over here. I showed him my red cliff tattoo because in case you guys did not know, I do have a red cliff tattoo. Not only that, but I also have a Roblox logo tattoo and also a Spawn tattoo. Yes, I love Roblox, bro. My life is Roblox. And then we were talking over here, see, 14 minutes after that midnight message, I said, also, my items are now off hold. And then he said, while we've been chatting, a very speculative overpay was lapped up in different DMs, and I am waiting to hear back on that. It would change my top 4 items. And then he said, yeah, I'm doing it. I had absolutely no idea on what the items were, because as I told you, this is the guy who owned my Spec Epsilon, right? And those other items. You see, he had the Spec Epsilon, but then also the Silver King of the Night, Dark Seed, and also the Prankster Face. These 3 items that I actually wanted. Right, but okay, Pedro, then why are you so mad if you were not trading for his Spec Epsilon? So you might see that there is a gigantic drop between yesterday and today, right? The Spec Epsilon is no longer on his inventory because he lowballed it 920,000 while we were negotiating. So that means that not only my big and rare item was lowballed a massive amount for another big and rare item, but I also lost out on doing that deal for demand items. All because they were negotiating right exactly when me and Z-Lady were about to do some offers, bro. This kind of stuff always happens to me. So not only did I lose out on an offer, but now people are going to be calling my big item bad, oh, because someone decided to lowball it one day after. Pedro got it! Do you see how happy I am with this whole situation, bro? Worst part about it is that Necro, the guy who now owns the Spec Epsilon, he said this is how fast we did the trade. It was 10:09 p.m. for him, which means it was 12:09 a.m. for me. What offers and I are competing against those Steampunk Aver Spectacles 10:11 p.m. So that means that they were negotiating 1 singular minute before my items went off hold. And the worst part about it is that this was his best offer for the Steampunk Aver Spectacles, which is about like an 800,000 overpay, which is not bad whatsoever. But you know, these are regular demand items that get regular sized overpays. None of these items get 300,000 overpays. The best item in this list is the Classic Fedora, which gets around like 30-40,000 overpays. But then the guy had the absolutely amazing and brightest idea of all time to lowball the item that I had just freshly obtained 920,000 in order to get both of these items right here. And a lot of people have been telling me like, oh Pedro, you are overreacting because one bad proof is not going to kill this item or whatever. I would usually agree with you if traders were not super brainwashed and proof oriented right now. They are not going to be giving an absolute damn if the item lowballed 920,000 for an item that is more OP than it, because it simply lowballed 920,000, so they are going to assume that this item is extraordinarily bad, which is unfortunate because in my personal, and might be biased opinion, the item is not bad whatsoever. But the issue is that whenever I get these items, bro, and this is not the first time, whenever I get rare items, some BS always happens to these items shortly after I get them. So bro, I'm not even gonna lie to you, after I trade this Epsilon off, I'm never trading for rares again, bro. I'm not even kidding. Sure bro, okay, I'm coping, I'm sieving, I'm molding, I'm molding as well, I'm molding as we speak. I don't even care, bro. I am mad, and I don't even care. Just to prove the point as to how proof-oriented traders are nowadays, I'm going to show you a DM that I got today. So you see, I spoke to this drenched guy who actually made a trade ad for my item. He actually wanted to trade for my item and another one of these items. And then I said, yo bro, I saw you made a trade ad for the Spec Epsilon. Are you still looking for them? And then he said, probably not. I was kind of disappointed when I saw the first proof. Thank you so much for proving my point, my friend. Sorry, I mistyped it over here. So yes, I am super happy. I'm happy, I am overjoyed. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry if I sounded a little bit over dramatic in this video, bro. I don't even care. Yes, I am mad and I'm not going to hide my feelings from the world. But thank you so much for every single member of the YouTube channel. You guys have been supporting me in an amazing manner. You guys are absolutely amazing, so thank you so much for all of the support. Join my Discord server because we will be hosting a few giveaways in the coming days. Follow me on Twitter, of course. Once again, join my Discord server. Subscribe, like the video, do all of that very juicy stuff that you always do after watching one of my videos. Not like the actual juicy stuff, but I mean like as in liking and subscribing, of course. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching me rant about my items for several minutes on end. And I will see you guys in the next one.